Hey, what's going on guys? Frosty here, and today I'm going to show you guys how you can get over 120,000 XP per hour completely AFK in Destiny 2. First up, we'll start off with the build, and you need to watch this video all the way through and not skip ahead because there's some important information in this video that you need to be aware of in order to make this work and not have it fail on you while you're actually AFK. Starting off, you need to make sure that you're on a Solar 3.0 Titan. For the aspects at the top, I would recommend Roaring Flames as this stacks ability damage, which is good for us. You can run Consecration, it won't mess anything up, but it's not mandatory. But lastly, you want to make sure that you do not have Soul Invictus equipped because we do not want to be creating sunspots. For the fragments, the only one I would highly recommend is Ember of Char, but you can use whatever else you want here. And lastly, under the subclass, but is also the most crucial, is you need to make sure that you're also running fusion grenades. Now getting into your character's loadout, I would recommend bringing a Sunshot because this is a good weapon to help set up the farm. Moving on to the exotic armor of choice, you need to make sure you have the exotic gauntlets Ash and Wake. The reason for that is because every time we get kills with our fusion grenades, this exotic feeds us more grenade energy back, which is crucial. Also, you need to make sure that you set them to the stasis affinity and put 2 grenade kickstart mods on them. Next, I would recommend trying to hit 100 discipline with this build because it can only help you, it can't hurt you, so I would recommend pushing this stat as high as you possibly can. And lastly, this is absolutely mandatory, you need to make sure that you have the blinding light mod equipped on your ghost for an extra 12% XP gains. And also, I like to use Prodigious Glimmer Booster to just get some more glimmer while I'm farming. For anybody who may be still confused or is just too lazy, I will leave a dim link in the comment section below for you guys to make this build. Next, you need to load into Sanctuary on the moon, and you need to follow this specific path I'm taking in order to go to the farming spot. Once you reach the Hall of Wisdom, you want to make sure you go ahead and clear out the entire area. Once you keep moving forward, you'll look off to the left and you'll see a big room with a big circular doorway in the back of it. You want to go enter this room and also clear out all the enemies in this location. Next, you should have your macro set up and ready to go. If you don't have one and you need one, I would recommend Tiny Task. It's a really good, dependable, and non-invasive macro that works well for what we're trying to do here, and a lot of people in the Destiny 2 community use it to AFK. Next, once you get to this location, I would recommend putting your game in windowed full screen, and also capping your frame rate so your computer doesn't have to work too hard while you're just AFKing. Next, you want to go ahead and open up Tiny Task. You want to make sure it's set to 1x original speed, which is important, and it should be on that by default. You also want to make sure continuous playback is checked, as this will allow it to repeat over and over again. And lastly, you want to make sure you have a hotkey set up to start and stop the macro that you'll remember. Personally, I use F8 for this. Next, I would recommend loading up the moon file, which you can find in my Discord under the macro section. It's already a custom pre-made macro that works perfectly for this farm, but if you don't want to use it, you can go ahead and record your own macro and try to make this work yourself. Now let's get into how to set up the farm. What you want to do is minimize Tiny Task and head over to this big circular doorway behind us. As soon as you step beyond that doorway, the enemies will continue to spawn in that first room in front of that white wall over and over again. Then what you want to do is wedge yourself in the left hand corner of the hallway so your character doesn't drift over time, and then just time up throwing your grenade to where they spawn in, and then eventually, as soon as you feel comfortable, activate the macro, and then eventually it should get in a rhythm where they just continuously spawn in and die to your grenade over and over again. This may take you a couple tries to get to work, but don't worry, you'll eventually get there. Just make sure that your reticle isn't too high so that you're not overthrowing or underthrowing your grenade. And that's all there is to it. That's the best AFK XP farm in Destiny 2. If you're somebody who needs help leveling up their season pass or just unlocking mods on their seasonal artifact and unlocking power to do GMs, whatever it may be, this is a really good opportunity to take advantage of if you're somebody who just doesn't have the time and you don't want to do bounties. Anyways, that's going to be a wrap on this video. If you enjoyed it or found it informative, a like on it would be greatly appreciated. And also consider subscribing to the channel if you want to see more content like this in the future. As always, thank you for watching and stay frosty.